Chosen one, your fire burns brighter than the shadows that tried to consume you. Every step you took shattered the illusions they built to confine you. The lies meant to weaken you became the stepping stones to your triumph, and the storms they sent only watered the seeds of your greatness. They underestimated your resilience, your ability to turn pain into purpose and chaos into clarity. You are the author of your destiny, rewriting every chapter they tried to end. The whispers of doubt they planted in your mind have been silenced, replaced by a roar of undeniable truth. You are unstoppable. What they called too much was simply the brilliance of a soul unbound, a force too fierce to be understood, yet too powerful to be ignored. For too long, you were made to believe that enduring pain was the price of love, that your worth was measured by how much you could endure for the sake of someone else's comfort. They crafted chains out of your longing for connection, disguising manipulation as affection and control as care. But now you see clearly, love does not demand your suffering, and connection does not thrive in the soil of toxicity. The lies that once tethered you to empty, draining bonds have unraveled, and you've reclaimed your power. No longer will you mistake tolerance for love or survival for joy. You've learned that real connection nourishes, uplifts, and strengthens, and anything less is no longer welcome in your life. They taught you to confuse scarcity with abundance, to mistake their domination for care, and to see your own worth through the distorted lens of their control. You were starved of true affection, yet told to be grateful for the scraps they tossed your way. They wove shame into your soul, shame for wanting more, for dreaming bigger, for daring to believe you deserved freedom. But now you see the truth. Their false promises were a prison, and their so-called love was a leash. You've broken free from the illusions, reclaiming your power, your worth, and your right to abundance, both emotional and spiritual. No longer will you settle for less than what you deserve, because now you know you are the feast, not the beggar. They programmed you to feel guilt for desiring more, to see ambition as selfish, and to shrink your dreams so they could thrive off your limitations. They painted wealth as a corrupt pursuit, not because it was true, but because your abundance would expose their manipulation. They feared what you could become if you realized your worth, if you demanded to be paid what you deserve, to live without fear of lack, and to own your power unapologetically. But now, the veil has lifted. You see money for what it truly is, a tool, not a trap. Your pursuit of financial freedom is not greed, it's liberation. And as you step boldly into your abundance, you dismantle the chains they built to keep you small. The financial freedom you had was their greatest fear, because it meant they could no longer bind you with dependency or silence you with scarcity. They knew that your independence would shatter the foundation of their control, that with resources in your hands, you would no longer tolerate their exploitation or shrink to fit their narrative. They cloaked their manipulation in spiritual platitudes, convincing you that desiring freedom was selfish, that wanting success was shallow, and that your struggles were somehow virtuous. But now you see through the facade. True spirituality uplifts, it does not suppress. It expands your power, it doesn't diminish it. You've reclaimed your right to thrive, unapologetically stepping into a version of yourself they can no longer contain or define. Hay fed you the lie that virtue was born from struggle, that sacrifice made you worthy, and that desiring more was a betrayal of your character. They romanticized deprivation, painting it as a badge of honor, while quietly reaping the rewards of your undervaluation. They wanted you to believe that wealth tainted the soul, not because it was true, but because your abundance would mean their control over you would crumble. But now you understand the truth. There is nothing noble about lack, and nothing shameful about desiring more. Abundance is your birthright, a reflection of your worth, and a tool to create a life of freedom, fulfillment, and impact. You no longer buy into their myths, because you've realized that true goodness isn't measured by what you lack, but by what you create, and how you empower others to rise alongside you. Your financial struggles were never a reflection of your potential, but a reflection of the stories you were taught to believe. They planted seeds of doubt in your mind, nurturing a cycle of fear and self-sabotage that kept you tethered to scarcity. The narrative of not enough wasn't yours. It was inherited, reinforced, and weaponized to keep you small. But now, you hear a new voice rising within you, one that whispers of possibility, abundance, and freedom. You realize that wealth isn't something outside of you to chase, it's something already within you, waiting to be unleashed. With every step you take toward abundance, you rewrite the story, breaking generational chains and replacing them with a legacy of empowerment, courage, and limitless potential. The abundance of the universe has always been within your reach, as natural and effortless as the rising sun or the rhythm of the tides. The same energy that breathes life into the cosmos flows through you, limitless and ever-present. Scarcity was never real. It was an illusion crafted by fear and reinforced by those who benefited from your disconnection from this truth. Your financial breakthrough is a reclamation of your divine inheritance, a realization that abundance isn't something you must earn or chase, but something you align with by breaking free from the chains of limitation. As you awaken to this truth, you step into harmony with the infinite flow of prosperity, no longer asking for permission to thrive, but embracing the abundance that has always been yours. Your desires were always valid, a reflection of your worth and the abundance you were meant to claim. It was never that your standards were too high, but that others hoped you would lower them to make their lives easier. They thrived on your conditioned humility, on your gratitude for the bare minimum, convincing you that asking for more was greed rather than self-respect. But now you see the truth. Your expectations were not excessive. They were a declaration of your value. The universe was never withholding from you. It was waiting for you to align with the truth that abundance, respect, and reciprocity are your birthright. You no longer apologize for wanting more because you've realized that honoring your desires is the first step toward embodying the overflow that the universe has always intended for you. Look at the vastness of the oceans, the boundless expanse of the sky, and the infinite possibilities that surround you every moment. The universe was never designed for lack. It overflows with abundance in every direction, a constant reminder that scarcity is nothing but a construct of control. Your refusal to settle is not ingratitude. It is a reclamation of your innate worth. Your desire for more is not greed. It is a recognition of the limitless potential within you. To demand excellence is to honor the divine spark that creates worlds, the same spark that exists within you. The voices that told you to shrink, to accept less, were never your own. They were the echoes of a system that thrived on your smallness. But now, you rise, knowing that abundance is your natural state, and that to claim it is not arrogance, but alignment with the truth of who you are. The attack on your self-trust was calculated and deliberate, designed to erode your confidence in your own inner compass. Every time you sensed dishonesty, they cloaked it in charm and made you feel foolish for noticing. Every time your spirit recognized betrayal, they twisted your reality until you questioned your own clarity. They weaponized love and validation to disarm you, using gaslighting as a tool to keep you in the dark. But their fear was never about you being wrong, it was about you being right. Your intuition was a spotlight on their shadows, a truth they couldn't bear to face. They needed you to doubt yourself because your clarity was a danger to their deception. But now, you begin to reclaim your power, recognizing that your perception has always been your greatest strength, and no amount of manipulation can take that truth away from you. Their words were carefully chosen weapons designed to chip away at the foundation of your self-trust. You're overreacting, you're imagining things, you always take things the wrong way. Each phrase was another thread in the web they wove to separate you from your own truth. But even as they tried to rewrite your reality, your body held on to the wisdom they couldn't erase. Your heart whispered truths your mind was taught to ignore, and your intuition remained a quiet but unshakable force. Every time you chose to believe yourself, even in the face of their denial, you dismantled the wall they built between you and your power. Every moment you trusted your inner voice, you reclaimed the divine connection they tried so desperately to sever. You've always known the truth, and now you're finally letting that truth guide you home to yourself. Every time you trusted your own truth over their distortions, you were dismantling the cage they built around your mind. The clarity you now feel is the universe affirming what you always knew deep down. You were never lost, just silenced. Those who labeled you as irrational are now confronted with the undeniable accuracy of your intuition. The warnings you voiced, once ignored, are now echoes of undeniable reality. The cracks in the illusions they crafted are visible to all, and the power they tried to strip from you is returning tenfold. Their attempts to limit your potential were never about your inadequacy, but about their fear of your greatness. Now, as the fog clears, you see that their projections were never your reality, and your ability to rise was never theirs to control. There's no room for everyone. Success is a zero-sum game. You have to fight to survive. These falsehoods were crafted to keep you small, tethered to fear and scarcity. They wanted you to believe that the world's gifts were finite, that you had to compete for crumbs instead of creating your own feast. But the truth is, abundance is not something to chase. It is something you embody. The universe is limitless, constantly expanding, constantly creating, and your alignment with that truth is their greatest fear. When you realize that opportunities are born from your vision, not their permission, you break free from the illusion of lack. You stop settling for what you're given and start claiming what you've always deserved. The scarcity mindset conditioned you to settle for less, to cling to people, opportunities, and environments that dimmed your light because you feared nothing better would come. It taught you to view others as rivals rather than collaborators, convincing you that their gain was your loss. But scarcity was never about the world around you. It was a story written inside you, a narrative designed to keep you small. The truth is, abundance isn't something you find, it's something you create. When you shift from fear to faith, from lack to limitless potential, the world around you transforms. You begin to see that what you deserve isn't determined by anyone else's approval, but by your willingness to believe in your own worth. Prosperity starts within, and once you claim it, nothing external can take it away. Embracing abundance consciousness is an act of defiance against the illusion of lack they tried to impose on you. Every time you trust in endless opportunities instead of finite resources, you're reclaiming your power to create rather than compete. Every time you step boldly toward your vision, ignoring their fears of failure, you're embodying the truth that abundance is a mindset, not a privilege. The universe mirrors this truth everywhere: the infinite waves of the ocean, the ceaseless growth of forests, the boundless potential of human imagination. These are reminders that limitation is not inherent, it is a construct designed to control. By choosing to embrace abundance, you're not only freeing yourself, but also dismantling the false systems that thrive on keeping others small. Abundance is your birthright, and the moment you claim it, the world expands to meet you. The version of success they sold you was a cleverly disguised prison, designed to keep you confined within their comfort zones. They taught you to shrink yourself, to dim your light so others wouldn't feel overshadowed, to settle for mediocrity and call it gratitude. They made you believe that dreaming big was selfish, that wanting more was greedy, and that standing out was a threat. They twisted ambition into something shameful and authenticity into something to apologize for. But their definition of success was never about you, it was about maintaining their control. True success isn't about fitting into their mold, it's about breaking it entirely. It's about unapologetically pursuing your dreams, seeing your worth as inherent, and realizing that the only limits are the ones you refuse to challenge. The cultural conditioning around success was a quiet thief, stealing dreams under the guise of humility and obedience. Don't rock the boat, play it safe, don't aim too high. These were the chants of generations who had unknowingly traded their potential for the illusion of security. But true wisdom doesn't come from fear, it comes from the courage to break free. Real success isn't measured by their standards or confined by their expectations. It's found in the freedom to live authentically, to chase the passions that set your soul on fire, and to share your unique brilliance with the world unapologetically. Success isn't about fitting into their small boxes. It's about building a life so expansive and fulfilling that it shatters every boundary they tried to place around you. Your success is a revolution, a bold statement that defies the narratives designed to confine you. Every milestone you reach is an act of resistance against the forces that told you to stay small. Every ceiling you shatter is a reminder that their boundaries were nothing more than illusions. Every dream you bring to life is a testament to the limitless potential that was always within you. By daring to rise, you're not just rewriting your own story, you're challenging the entire system, proving that the power to define what's possible has always been yours. The relationship blueprint they handed you was a masterpiece of manipulation, designed to keep you chasing love in all the wrong places. They taught you to romanticize turmoil, to see red flags as challenges, and to believe that love had to be earned through suffering. They conditioned you to crave the highs and lows of dysfunctional dynamics, convincing you that stability was dull and chaos was exciting. But true love isn't a battlefield, it's a sanctuary. It's not found in the push and pull of toxic cycles, but in the quiet, steady presence of mutual respect, trust, and care. Reclaiming your heart means unlearning their programming and redefining love as something that heals rather than harms. The grip of trauma bonding was so insidious that it blurred the lines between love and survival, tricking you into believing that pain was proof of passion. The roller coaster of highs and lows, the fleeting moments of tenderness followed by devastation, rewired your mind to equate chaos with connection. They made you mistake emotional turbulence for excitement and stability for stagnation. They taught you to chase the unpredictable, to seek validation in places where it was never freely given, and to cling to relationships that drained you. But healing is your rebellion. Every time you choose self-respect over self-sacrifice, you reclaim your power. Every time you walk away from toxicity, you rewrite the story they tried to impose on you. And every time you embrace love that feels steady, safe, and nourishing, you prove that your heart was always meant for more than just surviving. It was meant to thrive. The relationships flowing into your life now are a reflection of the healing you've fought so hard to achieve. They are invitations to experience love as it was always meant to be, genuine, uplifting, and free of conditions. These connections honor your worth, amplifying your joy rather than diminishing it, and nurturing your spirit instead of wounding it. This transformation isn't just personal, it's profound. By choosing love rooted in respect and authenticity, you've dismantled the cycles of dysfunction that echoed through generations before you. You are the bridge between what was and what can be, creating a legacy of healthy, wholehearted relationships for those who will follow. The accusations of selfishness they cast upon you were never about your character, they were about control. They twisted your empathy into a tool for their benefit, making you believe that sacrificing yourself was the ultimate virtue. Every time you said no, they painted you as unkind. Every time you chose rest over their demands, they framed it as a moral failing. They made you question your own worth, equating self-care with selfishness and boundaries with betrayal. But the truth is, choosing yourself was never wrong, it was necessary. Reclaiming your right to prioritize your needs is an act of liberation. Every boundary you uphold now is a declaration of self-respect. Every moment you protect your energy is proof that your compassion can coexist with your own well-being. This isn't selfishness, it's survival, and it's the foundation of the freedom they tried to deny you. Your energy is a gift, your time a treasure, and your emotional reserves a wellspring that deserves careful stewardship. Those who drained you without giving back, who took and took while offering nothing in return, were never entitled to your light. They cloaked their exploitation in the guise of love, but love does not deplete, it nourishes. The discomfort you felt when you began to protect yourself was not a sign that you were wrong, but a sign that you were breaking free. Every boundary you set is an act of self-honor, a reminder that your resources are not infinite and must be guarded with care. Restoring your energy is your birthright, and those who truly value you will never demand its depletion. Real love celebrates your growth, encourages your healing, and honors your need to recharge because it recognizes that a thriving individual is the foundation of a thriving connection. Those who resist your boundaries aren't opposing selfishness, they're opposing your freedom because they can no longer feed off your sacrifice. Choosing self-preservation is not an act of neglect, but an act of wisdom. You've discovered that saying no to what exhausts you is an act of saying yes to what uplifts you. Protecting your peace isn't about running from challenges, it's about creating the stability and strength necessary to face them with clarity, resilience, and purpose.